Today, I want to talk about what President Trump said because this is kind of we talked about this on the show. This is something President Trump just recently came out and said that they actually armed, as they say, the Kurds, and we don't know what he means by that because I'll tell you after I share the video. I'll tell you why that's not very clear. They armed the Kurds to give the weapons to the Iranian people after the early January uprising. Apparently, one of when President Trump said help is on the way, one of the things that was supposed to be happening was the weapons that President Trump gave to the Kurds to get to the Iranian people. However, again, I don't like the word the Kurds because you're grouping Iranian Kurds, patriotic Iranian Kurds, by the way, patriotic Iranian Kurds, with probably the separatist groups that they're talking about here, right? So, guys, remember, we don't know who they're talking about. For context, they might be talking about Iraqi separatist Kurds or the minority Iranian separatist Kurds. They're obviously not talking about the majority patriotic. So we have three groups: the Iraqi separatist Kurds, the minority Iranian separatist Kurds, and then we have a third group, the majority Iranian patriotic Kurds. We're obviously not talking about the third group. So it's either group one or group two. So with that being said, let's listen to what was, because this is a bombshell. Like, I don't know if people understand how big of a deal this news is. It has two important. It makes us gives us two important conclusions. One, that President Trump was actually trying to arm the Iranian people to help them with their uprising. That's the good news part of this. That's the level of involvement that they wanted to have when it comes to helping the Iranian people. The bad news is that they trusted the separatist Kurdish groups, which they shouldn't have been, in my opinion. And the fact that these groups now didn't give the weapon to the Iranian people and they kept it to themselves. So they stole it. They decided to steal it and they kept the weapons, which is like, yeah, we knew that would happen. We knew that would happen. So it's great that they wanted to help the Iranian people, but it's bizarre that this is the group that they trusted. So let's watch this.
Now, the president also provided new details on what happened earlier this year as the Iranian regime took to the streets and slaughtered what the president tells me is 45,000 civilians in their own country. After that took place, President Trump told me the United States sent guns to the Iranian protesters. He tells me we sent them a lot of guns. We sent them through the Kurds, and the president says he thinks the Kurds kept them. He went on to say we sent guns to the protesters, a lot of them. And so a number of headlines here from my conversation with President Trump. All of this taking place more than a month into Operation Epic Fury and in the aftermath of that successful U.S. operation overnight to rescue that stranded U.S. service member inside Iranian territory. The president himself ordering that operation after the CIA came on Saturday morning and confirmed that they located where this crew member of an F-15 that was shot down on Friday was located. Again, the president making that decision to send in hundreds of U.S. special forces deep into Iranian territory and successfully retrieving that U.S. service member. Guys?
I want to make sure I got this correctly. Are you saying that the president told you that he sent guns?
Okay, so that's the first part. Here's the second part. Hold on. Because the second part is the more important part. There we go. I found the second part because this lady asked for clarification here.
I want to make sure I got this correctly. Are you saying that the president told you that he sent guns, the U.S. government sent guns to the protesters via the Kurdish, but the Kurdish kept some of the guns?
Correct. The president tells me that the United States sent guns to the Iranian protesters earlier this year. He says we sent them a lot of guns. We sent them through the Kurds, and he thinks that the Kurds kept them. Remember, the president made a commitment to the Iranian protesters who were in the streets of their country earlier this year. Those images were circulating online of thousands of people who were slaughtered at the hands of the Iranian regime, the current regime that is attacking U.S. forces as we speak. And the president made a commitment on True Social to those protesters, and he said help is on the way. And we are learning as a result of this call with President Trump that he attempted to send guns to these protesters in order to fight back and defend them. Remember, these were peaceful demonstrators who were protesting against their government, and they were met with live ammunition from the Iranian regime in the streets of their country. They were slaughtered. And Fox News was talking to people in Iran who were using Starlink, and they were describing these horrific scenes in the streets of their country. And the president, again, told them that support and help was on the way. And so it appears that was the help the president was talking about. And again, as all of this is taking place, now that we zoom out 3 months later, the president is offering the Iranians a diplomatic solution to end this conflict. The same offer that he gave the Iranians before Operation Epic Fury began.
Exactly.
And remember, we know that at the negotiating table before this operation began, the opening position of the Iranian regime is that we have 460 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium, enough to make 11 nuclear bombs. And the president, understanding the country's ballistic missile program and their nuclear aspirations, ultimately ordered this operation. Well, more than 35 days later, the president once again is offering the Iranians a diplomatic solution. And again, he tells Fox News in a phone call earlier today, he thinks he'll be able to get a deal with Iran by tomorrow. He says he thinks there's a good chance tomorrow. They are negotiating now. But again, the president goes on to tell me you're going to see bridges and power plants dropping all over their country.
Okay, so it really angers me that they refer to the Kurdish separatist groups as the Kurds. I imagine that our patriotic Kurdish majority people are going to be very angry being grouped like they have to deal with them being our Kurdish Iranians being grouped with the separatist groups, and now everybody like, oh, the Kurds stole the guns, and not all of the Kurds. Like, there's going to be so much negative views of our Kurds, and the Iranian Kurds had to deal with this for so long. Like, they always had to deal with the minority separatist groups being a representation of what Iranian Kurds stand for. And this is why the Iranian Kurds actually go extra hard with their demonstrating their patriotism, because they have to adjust for all these separatist groups always like being the ones who are apparently are representative of Kurdish people in Iran all the time. So that is very difficult. Another thing is that I don't know why they trusted these separatist groups to give the Iranian, like, these separatist groups are anti-Iranian. So they're anti-Iran as a whole. They're not anti-Islamic Republic. They're anti even the word Iran. So if you're like, here's some weapons, go give it to the Iranian people, are like, I think we're just going to keep it. So they're not gonna arm their enemy. If you give them weapons, they're not going to arm their enemy. Their war is with the Iranian people, not with the Islamic Republic. So we knew. I mean, if you ask me, I knew exactly that this would have happened. So it's very strange that U.S. intelligence didn't knew that this is going to happen. If this is actually what happened. And another concern is that I wonder if, like, I hope they don't give up on arming the Iranian people, because I think that might actually be the right strategy. And I'm wondering if the failure of this plan is going to make them completely abandon this. Like, oh, what now? They're going to think like, okay, we can't give weapons to anyone anymore because if we give it to them, somebody's going to keep it or steal it. So this has already backfired. So maybe they abandon. So the way that I mentioned yesterday, I made a video about this yesterday. The way that I thought that the Iranian people should be armed is to liberate a city in southern Iran, just one city close to the Strait of Hormuz, and then arm them and make that a place where Iranian people could come, get vetted, essential, and then train. You don't just give weapons to willy nilly to people without training them and vetting them first. And you train them, you give them guns and drones, and you train them on how to use drones, potentially with the help of Ukrainian soldiers, because we already did this in Syria and it worked against Assad. So it could also work here. And not only that, if it's a city close to the Strait of Hormuz, as this army expands and grows and takes more, gets more influential around that area, the Islamic Republic's control over the Strait of Hormuz will be reduced as that army expands. And it's such a, to me, that sounds like a very good strategy, because it also removes U.S. Soldiers' involvement, and it will just be a limited involvement, and it will be the selling point of that in America to a local American audience is that, oh, we have very limited American soldier involvement. We're just helping the Iranian people liberate themselves. So it's also sellable because the cost to the Americans in both dollars and lives would be much less. You're just basically empowering the Iranian people to liberate themselves rather than committing a long-term ground troops operations by the Americans. So that's what I think should have been done, but I don't know what went here. Anyways, I spoke for. I saw some people wanted to respond to this. Danny.
Yes. So, do we know when they gave out the weapons? Was that on January 8th?
he didn't clarify, did he? He made it seem like it was shortly after. Well, he made it no after, no not after, because he referred to the statement "help is on the way," so it must have been after President Trump said "help is on the way." So it must have been after that. I don't remember exactly when the date for that statement was, but that's a good question.
I'll look for it. Meanwhile, Johan, Noah, and Daniel wanted to respond in that order, please.
Okay,
Johan.
yeah, thanks. Well, about the Kurdish being armed, I think you're reading way too much into this. I believe it's just noise. Perfect example of noise. What this guy on Fox, who he is, or I don't trust him very much. I think he's full of shit. I believe that if we look at what Trump has said about it recently, and I believe a couple of 1 or 2 months ago he said something about it. What he is referring to is basically the Kurds have been armed by the US for many years. It goes back to like 2003 and likely that's what he is referring to, that there is Kurdish groups in Iraq and Iran, and that's just what it means, that there are Kurdish forces there that could go in and link up with the Iranians, and maybe they have started to transferring weapon or whatever. I don't really know. I don't think it's very important. No, I think it's mostly noise that people make up.
So I want us to be careful not, I mean, you might be right, I don't know. But I want us to be careful not to dismiss any news that we don't like as noise, because we might like end up being like any news that basically we enjoy being true, being real, and every news that we don't like to be true, all of it becomes noise. Like we have to be careful not to, do that. I mean, but I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just difficult for me to, even though you might be right, like it's difficult for me to see that this is noise, because he was very specific with the quoting. Like he said that they gave,
Yeah,
in
and
his
she
words, they
asked
gave.
him about it, made him clarify it. So he actually said it twice because the anchor understood the
Yeah,
importance of the framing. So she actually had him say that one more time.
yeah,
I noticed that.
yeah. And he said they kept it. Like
But
how?
he
What?
also
How?
said that Trump is negotiating. Trump isn't negotiating. He's not negotiating. He just
Well,
uses whoever he can to negotiate with to just lay out smoke, more or less.
I mean, he is negotiating a surrender.
Yeah, not.
So,
Yeah, what?
tec-
Yeah. I mean, the more you can defend them, the better. But
yeah. I think he's negotiating a surrender. I'm not saying it's possible, but I do think he's trying to negotiate a surrender. So that is a form of negotiation. He's not negotiating maybe a deal where they could survive this, but he is negotiating. But it's just like he also was very specific with what Trump said. He said like they gave them the weapons, and he said that they kept it. So it's really, even if he's making that up, he's being very specific with his made up story
I think he
on
meant.
Trump.
I hope they still have them. I hope they still have. That's
We'll
what I think. He meant.
Yeah,
A
I'm sure.
different
I'm sure
accent.
because he said this. Next time the reporters get an opportunity to ask President Trump questions, they're going to definitely. I think they're going to bring this up. So I think President Trump might clarify next time. But also, Danny put in the chat that when President Trump said help is on the way, that was on January 13th. So thank you for that, Danny. All right, but yeah, we'll see, John. It's interesting. It's an interesting prediction. We'll see, interpretation of what's happening, but we'll soon see how true that is. But it's good. Thank you,
All right, Noah next.
Noah.
Thank you. I mean, I'm a little concerned that President Trump might not keep arming via the Kurds if the Kurds are keeping, and by the Kurds I mean the Kurdish separatists. Didn't mean to. I forgot to clarify that. I'm sorry. But
What
my
happened to
main
your sound? It was really good before. Now it's clipping, so it's very hard to hear what you're saying. Sorry.
Yeah, what
oh
happened?
I'm sorry.
No, it's good. It's good now. It's good. It's good.
Oh, you can hear me? Okay, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, what I was saying, I'm a little bit concerned that the Kurdish separatists, if President Trump is gonna could potentially stop arming the Iranian protesters via the Kurdish separatists, that he might stop doing that because of a few bad apples. And by that, I mean it makes the entire Kurdish people look bad from the looks of it. And I can give a pretty good example, and that is, at least in the United States, a lot of scam calls come from India, and they make a lot of Indians look bad when in reality it's the bad actions of a few, because they even scam their own, Indians. So my main concern is that he'll stop arming the Iranians protesters via the Kurds, and they really need these arms. I'm
Well, they
hoping.
shouldn't be arming them via the Kurds, the so-called
Yeah,
Kurds. Again, these are the anti-Iranian Kurds, because it shouldn't be based on Kurdish or Baluchi or Persian or Turkish. We should just be arming the Iranian people in general, regardless
yeah.
of their ethnicity. So their ethnicity should be irrelevant. But
I
your
mean,
concern is justified that this is going to make Iranian Kurds look bad. But yeah.
couldn't we arm them via the CIA and Mossad operators that are already on the ground there? Wouldn't that be a better way, or is that not possible because it would be hard to, the only land route is via the Kurds because Afghanistan's controlled by the
You-
Taliban, and obviously
Again,
Turkmenistan's out.
it's
Yeah,
let's be careful not to refer to the separatist groups as the Kurds, because we don't want to
I'm I
generalize.
I didn't mean
Yeah.
to. I'm sorry.
No, but like I don't think we should be doing it based on on the Iraqi Iranian border, because the Kurdish separatist groups are there, and they are the only armed people that monitor that border, like are there. So if anything wants to be done there, it probably be done with their cooperation. I think it should be done with like in a city in southern Iran, close to the Strait of Hormuz. The Americans already have presence there. They already have a lot of air power there, and they already have their ships, their navy there. They could easily moves, and some other airstrike carriers are coming closer pretty soon, and it's a win. Coming from there, to me, in my opinion, arming the Iranian people from the south has a close to the Strait of Hormuz has a win-win advantage, because there's a long-term win and a short-term win, and you need the short-term win to justify the longer-term investment in this. The longer-term arming the Iranian people is for the sake of regime change, right? And it's
Right.
hard to sell this to the American people to stay in this longer to go all the way for regime change. But arming Iranian people closer to the Strait of Hormuz will have a short-term win, which will basically make the Islamic Republic lose control over the Strait of Hormuz, and that short-term win will buy you political capital for President Trump for that longer-term win. That's why I think it needs to be done through that path.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it'd be better to go via the strait than
Yep. Yep.
via. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
That's my that's my opinion, at least. Yeah. All right, let's go and welcome
Daniel
again,
Dom.
Noah, and Daniel Dom.
So, Armin, you remember when I asked months before before the actual operation started, I was like, "Oh, why don't they arming people?" And you just actually told that it will be very difficult at this point of the protests understand who is the Basiji, who is the IRGC, and who is the normal Iranians, right?
Yeah.
So now when Trump said that they kept the weapons, let's take a look at it, because I believe those Iranians who got the weapons also told to hold on and not go to the streets with the weapons, so minimize any bad casualties. And although a lot of Iranians were shot and were harmed, and it was a bad thing, but it could be worse if those who are armed would go on the streets. So
Okay.
this is,
I don't know if the Iranians have received it or not, because the only thing we heard is the Kurds. The
yeah,
Iranian
of course.
hold let me 1 second. Like, are they talking about Iranian separatist Kurds, or are they talking about Iraqi separatist Kurds? What I do know is that it's not just like the patriotic Iranian Kurds. So I don't, and if it's any separatist groups, whether Iraqi or Iranian separatist groups, they're not going to be motivated to arm the rest of Iran. And if it is not any of these separatist groups, then why do you even refer to them as Kurds? You will just say Iranian, because the only group of people that are referred to as the Kurds, unfortunately, is the separatist groups. Like, people don't refer to the majority of, because the patriotic Iranian Kurds, they don't have their units, they don't have military units in court like in Iran. So that's why people don't refer to them as like as its own body of people that the Americans have a relationship with. The Americans, unfortunately, the Kurds that they have a relationship with is the separatist groups, right? So that's why I don't think that. And also, if because he didn't say President Trump said that we told them to hold on to it. He said that they just kept it, like as if they made this decision themselves. That's how it was described.
Yeah, I understand, but let's keep in mind that Trump has to play that verbal tricks because remember, he was always
Maybe.
telling one thing, something else happened. He tells,
Yeah.
I don't know, like we had a deal. The next day, a B2 comes with a serious payload, so we can't
Yeah, but that's okay.
ignore it.
Yeah,
And
no, you're
the
right.
other
Like, we're
thing,
always. No, let me
and
just
the
say this about what
okay.
you just said. Yeah, that's always a possibility. I'm not ignoring that possibility. But go on. Sorry.
And the other thing is, like yesterday or a couple of days ago, they had a serious operation of evacuating the pilots. It was a massive, it was a serious operation. It was an operation where they actually managed to have a base inside Iran, 100 kilometers from the nuclear facilities. It's like, dude, it's like if we had Hezbollah base 20 kilometers next to Dimona. It's crazy. They had managed to land their AC-130, which is a massive plane. It's enormous plane, and they managed to land there even two, if I'm correct. So they have to
So
make a lot of informational noise to to disinform, to make as chaotic as it possible. So the enemy actually like, whoa,
gets
whoa, whoa, what
confused.
is the next move?
Okay. So you're saying these are just mind games and confusion. I mean, that's always a possibility. We don't know. We don't know. But it could also be true. It could also be exactly what happened. So we also have to keep that in mind. Yeah.
Okay, Rebecca wanted to respond if she's done setting up. Otherwise, we can do that later.
Is there?
Okay, she doesn't appear ready. Yeah, she's getting
Okay.
up. Okay, then let's go to it later after the updates. Johan is first on the list.
No, sorry, you can skip me.
You're muted then.
Excellent. Then I have Ali.
Hey guys, do you guys want me to talk
Yes.
about the operation? I can give you some really cool info on it.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Please do.
Cool. Share
Thank.
my.
But yeah, go on.
Can I get the share screen?
Oh, I think Danny gave you the.
Okay,
Yep, got
I'll
it.
do that in a second. The pilot ejected, and he couldn't immediately reach out because he was actually unconscious and he had a concussion. So on Friday at noon, he did make initial contact. He gave a life signal and he used an encrypted radio that he had, and he communicated something very interesting. So one of his first messages were, "God is good." And so that actually confused the fuck out of Donald Trump. And he's like, did the Iranians capture him? Are they forcing him to say this? Is this like, am I getting trolled? Whatever. And so they were pretty confused. And it took a little bit of time to even launch that operation because they were unsure. But they did launch it regardless. What this guy ended up doing is, with a concussion, dehydrated, minor injuries sustained, he climbed to the highest point he could to avoid being caught and to be able to transmit his location easily for extract. So he walked about 10 kilometers up a mountain and he hid there in between some rocks. He gave his exact coordinates and the operation was sent. So they sent the two AC 130s, they sent some helicopters. Israel was also assisting by not targeting that area and giving intelligence. What happened next is really interesting. So I'm gonna share my screen here. Where is this? Oh no. Why can't I share the incognito tab? Maybe I can just share my
You
entire
want to
screen.
you want to send it to me if you want to be safe? Oh, there you go.
All right, here we are. So the only thing between where the pilot was on the left and where they landed on the right was Magyart. I'm kidding. So yeah, they landed here, and they used a old agricultural runway. You can actually see the marks of where the explosions were, where they blew up the planes there. So this was the base that they used. They used these for delivering supplies and etc. before, and so they landed here under the cover of night, established this as their base, and when they wanted to leave, they extracted the pilot. When they were back on this mountain, forces started approaching them. And so the special forces, upon seeing these Basij forces come at them, started doing suppressive fire to warn them off. Some Basijis still advanced and were shot down. Some air support was also given. Also, massive strikes were conducted across the country at the same time. The CIA also launched deception. So this was a almost like national level operation, which was much bigger than anyone would have thought otherwise. And yeah, they got him out. So that's what happened with that. And on other news, they have been striking Basij unit headquarters in cities like Ahvaz and a couple other ones along the southern coast of Iran, and they've been targeting specifically armored divisions. So they're going after tanks. And we also have a video from Bukhan where this Iranian man is driving through a checkpoint, and he's saying that they have left the checkpoints. They're completely unmanned. They've run away and they've hid.
Wow. Um,
Wait, is there no audio?
no, there's no audio.
Oh. Okay, well, I'll just send that to you later then. But yeah, essentially, he's just saying that. How do I stop this?
Stop share.
Yeah, how do I stop share?
Just click on this share screen button at the bottom of your screen.
I stopped
There
it
you
for
go.
you.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, I felt like a boomer there. Yeah, so that was insane. What they did was insane. I hope they make a movie out of it. Yeah.
There's two things that you
Oh
three
yeah,
things I
right.
think.
Sorry. When they were
What?
trying to extract the AC-130s, one of the wheels got stuck in the sand.
Oh,
The other one was
cool.
also deemed operationally ineffective because apparently they took some man-pad fire. So they actually decided to blow everything up. So they blew up the AC-130s. They also blew up 2 helicopters. They sent
Yes.
in 3 other planes to come in and extract everyone. So the crews of the AC-130s, the helicopters, the special forces, and the pilot, and they took everyone out.
Okay. No, that's important as well. But let me share some other things. So you look at this. Emily posted this saying increasing number of reports show that the Iranian people in Dehtash poured into the streets and physically blocked the roads during the search for the US pilot in order to prevent IRGC forces from reaching the pilot's location. And then we also had this one here saying breaking Iranian civilians in Dehtash are reportedly blocking the streets to prevent Islamic regime forces from searching for the second pilot. Iranian people are amazing. So those are what we saw. Thank you so much for whoever did that. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And
Apparently, they weren't
yeah,
just blocking the streets, they were actually blocking in front of a hospital too. So that if the Basijis were injured, it'd be harder for them to get in.
wow. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay. Okay. Also, we also have to mention Israel's involvement in this. I forgot the name of the unit that was involved in this, but there was a commander unit. Israelis were very much essential. Their involvement was very essential in getting this man out. this is very important because a lot of people say like, oh, Israelis are responsible for American soldiers dying. You can see that it's opposite. The Israelis are responsible for saving American soldiers' lives, and this we need to remind the world every time someone else claims this nonsense ever again. um and the most importantly is that my interpretation, my analysis is that this guy was Jesus, because he went down on Good Friday and he went to hell fighting demons, and then he was risen, airlifted on Easter Sunday. Like, what are the odds of that? Going down on Good Friday and being risen on Easter Sunday? I think this man is Jesus. So there you go. I'm now a Christian. So, but yeah.
Didn't Jesus say God is good at some in the Bible somewhere around
Uh,
there? So we can, yeah, maybe I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. No, I mean, like, so it's actually it's very interesting because, correct me if I'm wrong, because Jesus went to hell and met with demons between Friday and Sunday, right? So this guy was also like in his own hell as well between Friday and Sunday. And it's not just any Friday or any Sunday. It was Good Friday and Sunday, Easter Sunday. So like the odds are, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Oh, by the way, guys, one thing that I forgot to mention to you guys is that my prediction was true. I'm very impressed with myself because I thought that what the Americans would be doing is that they would create a distraction to be able to save their man. And this ended up being true. Look at this. A senior administration official in Washington said the rescue had involved a CIA deception campaign, spreading word inside Iran that US forces had already found the missing airman and were moving him on the ground for exfiltration out of the country, while the Iranians were confused and uncertain of what was happening. The missing weapons officer was located inside a mountain crevice and rescued, the officials said in a statement. So I predicted that this is what they would do, and that's what they did, which is very impressive. But what I didn't predict at all is President Trump praising Allah on Easter Sunday. Did any of you have this on your bingo card? Because I did not. So President Trump posted this saying, Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. What is what the hell is this? Anybody can explain that? So he posted that on True Social. Never seen anything like that before. Yeah, on Easter Sunday, praising Allah. Allahu Akbar. As well. Yeah, she should have ended that with Allahu Akbar. By the way, guys, from now on, I'm going to end my shows with praise be to Allah. Okay? Given that President Trump is now setting a precedent. So, if anybody has any theories on that, you could also put a one in the chat and let me know what you think. Anyways, yeah.
I actually, oh wow, I have three ones in the chat from two different people. Let's go to Noah next.
No. Hello.
Used school before, so it's kind of I'm trying to get used to it.
No worries.
So this is just for my reply. I thought it was one for question and two for reply. I can remember, but
Yeah. One for questions, two for responding to the topic that we're talking about right now.
Oh, well, I was just responding to you before I go to my question, which
anyway,
we
yeah,
can
it's
do
okay.
it
Go on.
later.
Okay, later. Okay, later. Late. No.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think in terms of what Trump said, I think he's trolling maybe. That's my only thing. He might be trolling the IRGC at this point. I'm not entirely sure why he said that. That's just so out of character for him. I've never heard him say praise to Allah or anything like that before. He's always said, God bless America. So that was just so weird for him saying that.
Well, whether he's trolling or not is going to confuse the shit out of the Islamic Republic. I can't wait to see, because I follow a lot of the pro-regime accounts and I listen and read what they say. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see how they're going to be talking. How, like, I think they're going to say, like, oh, look, we made a Muslim. Like, look, he's so threatened by us. He's now a Muslim as a so he converted to Islam. All right. Like, they're gonna say here, well, actually, let me guess. I'm gonna say, like, oh, we're so close to destroying America that this man is converting to Islam, hoping that that will save him. That maybe we won't kill him. That's why he's converting to Islam. This is what they will say.
I bet you that is exactly what they will say in their talk discussions on state TV. They're all going to say that, and we'll just be laughing our butts off. So, yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
I think Carl is next to respond if we're indeed doing twos, and then I'm going back to Noah. Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Carl, did you want to respond to this?
Hi,
For
Carl.
anyone who speaks Hebrew, I'm sorry for if I butchered the language, but the Hebrew song Yalla Yal Nisrallah, I think it was along those lines, trolling, because, well, in English, we'll knock you off, inshallah.
Ah.
The better
We'll
translation is "We'll fuck you," inshallah.
I'm sorry, I don't speak Hebrew.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
no
no.
disrespect intended.
Oh no, feel free to disrespect. We do that here all the time. But
I
no,
watch
so
you
you
and Goldie on X all the time.
oh well,
I've been
thank you.
sending you emails with like one meme, Qasem Soleimani. I could destroy America with one hand. Good, because that's all that's left of you.
Right. Oh,
Sorry.
okay, okay. Okay. No, that's okay. That's okay. No, but your interpretation on, let me see, Trump is saying, like, oh yeah, I will praise be to Allah, I will kill you. Like, he's basically trolling them with their own God. I can see that. I can see that. Like, yeah, he might be
That
doing
was a
that.
guess.
Yeah. No, it's a good guess. Here's the thing. We have no idea, okay? But so any guess is as good as any. Amir in the chat is saying he's definitely trolling. I mean, it's a pretty good troll, to be honest. I mean, obviously he's not Muslim. So the best guess is that he's trolling, but if he's trolling, is this not gonna offend his Muslim allies as well? Like, okay, so if you're Saudi Arabia or Qatar and UAE, like, well, what is happening here? Like, I don't know, guys. This is amazing. He's confusing people, which is, I mean, I guess a good thing. We'll see. We'll see. I'm sure they're gonna ask. Oh, guys, imagine if in the Oval Office, the journalists ask him about that. Like, Mr. Trump, why did you praise Allah? Oh my god! Can't wait for that. Can't wait for that.
Armin, at this point, I think everyone's used to President Trump's trolling. He does it all the
Yeah.
time. Goldie and you mention it on X all the time.
I'm not okay. I wasn't used to this level of trolling, praising Allah on Easter Sunday level of trolling. That is a we. This is a new level. This is like we have reached a new level. So I'm not used to this, but okay.
Fair
I'm
point. You got
waiting.
me there.
I'm waiting for, like, given the direction things are heading, I'm waiting for a truth post by Donald Trump saying hey there next. That's what I'm looking forward to. Like, so we'll see. Okay. We bombed them. Hey there. We destroyed the Islamic Republic. Hey there. Hey there. Anyways, okay, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
Oh my god.
Noah, did you have another topic in mind?
But
No, just a question for you, Danny. When I tried to do the translation or English translation of that song, you said you had a better translation for it?
Oh,
Danny?
yes. So what literally means knock, but it should be translated as fuck. So we'll fuck you, inshallah. Uh,
Thank
Okay.
you for that correction.
Okay.
or fuck you up. All right,
Yeah, fuck
Noah.
you. Yeah.
they're going to trigger my asthma at this rate with all this laughing. I did have a discussed topic, And this has affected me recently. A while ago, like with the war going on, with some stuff with mentally, it kind of, I also had some other stuff happen, like me personally as well. And it caused me to go like, everything was overwhelming me mentally, if that makes sense. So, like, with the negativity going on in the war, and like I was trying to like look at all the news and everything at the same time, and with gas prices still going up in the United States, I mean, they've gone like over $1.50 where I live. It was causing me to like overwhelm and stuff. And I guess from a mental standpoint, for us in the diaspora, and like for those of us who support the war, like how this can mess with us mentally to the point where we need to seek out help, which I have and I'm getting. So I do want to clarify that. But like, I know I can't be the only one that's experienced that. So I was wondering what everyone else thinks, what you think, Armin, like how this could be affecting all of us from a mental standpoint.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started. This
I'm
is
sorry. I'm sorry.
oh, no, 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 don't say sorry. I mean, Ali was telling Ali here yesterday. He was watching the videos from Hashd Shabi and Fatimyun and Zainabiyun making their way to Iran, and he said that it made it sick to his stomach. He said that he was like almost feeling like puking watching it. I mean, I the thing that scares me the most, for example, is like I don't want to go through what we went through early January. Like that is my nightmare scenario. Like that was like going through that was some of the most, we went from some of our best days to some of our worst days. Like imagine watching millions of Iranian people in the streets in such high numbers, and if all of us being convinced that, oh my God, this is it. This is it. Like it's over. Like the regime has fallen, and thinking that this is the best day ever. Nothing could ever match this day, to all of a sudden, within a few days after, seeing the darkest chapter of our history and just watching videos of body bags and of mothers crying, of fathers crying. And I this is something that haunts me, is that I was actually somebody on the Persian channel, and this will haunt me forever. I told my audience that, guys, if there's high numbers of us, there's not going to be able to do anything. And I was convincing people to go into the streets, and saying to them that probably there's a very low chance, if our numbers are high, there's very low chance that anything will happen to us. And I was one of the people who was encouraging people to go into the streets, and they went into the streets in the highest numbers imaginable, and they were massacred
Mhm.
in we never even imagined. And I sometimes hate myself thinking, what if somebody was convinced only because I said that the one of somebody went into the streets only because I said that the chances of them getting hurt is very low because of our high numbers, and that's what convinced them, and they went, and now they're one of the people who died. So this is something that I really sometimes it haunts me. So I don't know. I don't even know how to deal with that. But yeah, I can I think many people here relate with that, and I'm sure it's not just the Iranians who relate with that. I think like many Israelis here, they have gone through years of having to deal with the terroristic regime and all of its proxies. So I think they could relate. I mean, many people here, Israelis here, know what that's like to have to go through this up and down. Victories and losses. Good news and bad news, sometimes just within minutes from each other. So it's really hard. Like it's really hard to deal with all of this. So I understand that. I mean, I don't have any solution to it other than the fact that more people sharing that with each other. That's the only thing that could help, maybe.
I don't think there's any solution, but I mean, just talking about it. I mean, I mean, this is something that can't be ignored. But I would also, but I mean, the fact that we're talking about it, I think that's a positive thing. But I would say this, Armin, I wouldn't put that all on yourself. I mean, everyone in occupied Iran, the vast majority of them are so sick of this regime, they want it gone. So they probably would have gone out regardless. So I wouldn't put all their deaths on you, although I know I can't imagine how you're feeling because it's different for everyone. So
Yeah, but I was wrong, and I told him something that ended up being
yeah.
wrong. I
We
mean,
all
you know,
thought it was going to fall, but yeah.
we assumed that once you get millions of people in the streets, that would be it.
People want to respond to this. Samantha first.
Yeah, I mean, like, definitely see a therapist. Yeah, PTSD can be rough if that's what you're going through. Some useful tips are like, if you're just trying to stay like mentally with like what's going on and not like dissociate, one common trick people do is like just look around the room and try to like, just go through the rainbow. Like, okay, do I see something red? Do I see something orange, yellow, green? Or like, some people will be like, go through the five senses, like, can I name two things I see, two things I hear, two things I smell, two things I can touch, type things. The other thing, something that really helps me is like, I always listen to stand up like comedy when I go to sleep because I just really helps keep bad thoughts away when trying to go to sleep.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean that's a good strategy if you're trying to keep bad thoughts away. But I think that sometimes I don't try to keep bad thoughts away because I think like I I need those bad thoughts. Like I'm trying to. I think sometimes like I don't want to, I don't want to desensitize myself. I want to be able to tolerate them instead of making them to go away. I want to feel them because I think I'm supposed to feel them. I don't know. Unless it's too much, I guess. Yeah, I don't know.